People deserve maximum transparency from the federal government on sightings, acquisitions, and examinations of UAPs and whether they pose a potential threat to American safety. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
There and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani, and this is your show. This is where the lay faithful come together as the mystical body of Christ, and we work together, share our stories, our lived experiences, so we can help change the world. And today we're talking about our hardest spiritual battles, right? Something that we've gone through that was really difficult for us, and we struggled, and maybe we hit some lows, and maybe even unfortunately went to a little bit of a despair, but then we pulled ourselves out of it. But we're talking about my hardest spiritual battle, from a loss, maybe a divorce, a death, some life change that has really rocked your world. We really want to hear from you. We're talking about hardest spiritual battles today, how we got through them, who we leaned on, who we went to for help. We want to talk about it all from every single angle because it's very important. Now, Matt's on the phones, Michael's at the controls, and Pedro's at social media. Hi, guys. I'm waving to you, and I really want to hear from you. So please call in and share your hardest spiritual battle and how maybe you're still going through it and you would just like to talk to someone. Well, we are here. The number is 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Please call in because it's important. What you have to say can help other souls today. That's how Take Two works. If you don't have any time to get on the phone and call us, you can always text us and talk about your hardest spiritual battle. You text the letters EWTN to 58177. You wait for our response. Then you text us your first name and your comment, your story, your question about your hardest spiritual battle. Just know that message and data rates may apply. But I really want to fill up the phone lines because that's the way I like to roll here on Take Two. Jerry and I are very committed to having a robust discussion each and every time we go on air with you live, and we are live today on this beautiful day. Today's the day. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And let's really stay in the moment, and let's try to make a difference for others that are listening to this wonderful program, this wonderful broadcast. So all you have to do is dial in 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Did you ever hit rock bottom? You just really felt like God had abandoned you. You maybe even turned on God and got really mad at God. And you said, I'm done. I'm so disappointed. I tried to do everything right and you weren't there for me. You didn't show up for me. Why did you let this happen? That can easily happen in the world we live in, because the world can be very unfair and we can experience a lot of sadness and loss and devastation. And we think why, Lord? Why does it have to happen? I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to do the right thing, and I don't understand why this is going on. Has that ever happened to you? And then it really, caused a real crisis of faith in ways of really, not accepting things and not believing and not being faithful, not being true to your Christian beliefs. I mean, there's so many things that happen when somebody goes through a difficult time in life, and we can't really judge others and say, oh, well, I've experienced loss too. So, you get through it, or just, get a little stronger, get a little tougher, get a tougher skin. You can make it, you can survive. Well, that is true. We do have that ability to really, be able to fight back in a way to survive. But a lot of people, it takes time, and it really chips away at their faith. It really just destroys sometimes their world that they know and they have always trusted. And that's something that we have to walk with people, accompany people in, and really help them through these hardest spiritual battles so they don't turn away from God, so that actually they turn towards God and get closer to God. That's what happened to me. I've shared this many times. When I went through my divorce in 2006, I was married for 20 years. And when I first went to my pastor, my priest, and he was a friend too, and I actually worked for him. I said to him, Father, I'm lost. I'm completely lost. Everything, my whole world is changing overnight. And he said, Debbie, you're going to go one of two ways. You're going to get really close to God, or you're going to drift further away. That's just the way it's going to happen. And I remember being at home that night by myself, sitting there going, okay, I've lost everything. I'm not going to lose God. I'm just not. And so I chose to dive deep and go really close with God. And that was the best decision I ever made in my life. And I really struggled. I struggled hard because I was questioning a lot of things. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why is this going on? This is so unfair. Life is terrible sometimes. And it's just, you see people who do really bad things and they seem like they're having a really great life. And then the rest of us are trying to obey the rules and do everything the right way and, try to be really good and productive. And things just keep happening that go wrong. And we experience a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. And it didn't make sense. And so I can understand when that happens to people. But let's talk about it and really, discuss your hardest spiritual battle, whatever that is. Maybe you were diagnosed with cancer or some other illness or disease. I mean, I went through cancer twice. I get it. I totally understand it. So, I mean, it's shocking what it does to you. It's the strangest experience. But if you come out of it stronger, if you come out of it closer to God, more trusting of God, more loving of God, more faithful, it does make you stronger, perseverance. So I really want to hear from you. Fill up those last open phone lines. We do have lines lighting up right now, and that is great. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, Jerry and Debbie Facebook page, and also find me on my personal Facebook page, Debbie Georgiani, and follow me there because I know I'm going to be posting some more things about Take Two and the spirit world, and I want to make sure everybody's up to speed because some areas of the country want to make sure they have access to the live shows. So I just want to make sure everybody's caught up to speed and brought up to speed, I should say, and is rolling with us because we're moving fast. Okay, this train is a moving, so this is good. Oh, look at this. We're getting more calls coming in. Thanks, you guys. You're talking about your hardest spiritual battle today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And when I come back, I'm going to get to the phones. We're going to get to Mary Jo first. Mary Jo, hold on. And the others are coming in really strong. One open phone line just for you at 833-288-3986.
Here's today's quote from Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar. Perhaps the secret of all prayer and holiness of life is wrapped in God's plea to listen to His silent presence, that presence that penetrates our being and keeps us in existence, the presence that fills our souls with love and serenity, that presence that makes us strong when we feel weak. Mother's Spiral Bound Perpetual Calendar is available from the EWTN Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
This is a Messy Family Minute from Mike and Alicia Hernan. We get questions all the time about when a parent should allow a child to experience certain freedoms, such as having a smartphone, going to parties, or dating. The answer is not clear-cut because all children mature differently. How is a parent to know what to do?
The analogy we use a lot is teaching a child to swim. When kids are young and aren't familiar with the water, you keep them close. As they learn, you let them go out a bit farther. The ultimate goal is that you're standing on the shore watching them swim alone. When kids are young, it's our job to protect their innocence. But as they grow, we need to help build Christian maturity. Through this process of forming them in virtue, parents learn when to give the children a chance to try and sometimes to fail.
We think it's wise for parents to teach children how to handle certain freedoms when they're under your roof. then you can be there as a trusted guide to help them navigate the turbulent and occasionally confusing waters of young adulthood.
For more resources in our podcast, visit us at messyfamilyminute.org.
We're talking today about your hardest spiritual battle. So if you have something to share, a story to share about this and the journey that you went through in order to come out in a better place after experiencing something major that really just you took a hit, and you really struggled. Please consider calling in. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. If you hear the sound of my voice, you are part of the Take Two family. So we absolutely want to invite you to call in at 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Our hardest spiritual battles. This is going to be some great stories coming up. Mary Jo, hold on for a moment. I just want to share about another ebook, Praying with the Popes. Our special free ebook will help guide you in prayer and find comfort from the words Jesus spoke to Peter. The free ebook is available at EWTN.com/Chair of St. Peter. So that is, I love the free ebooks. Okay, Mary Jo, in Lamont, Illinois, Sirius XM 130. You have been waiting so patiently. Hi, Mary Jo. You're going to give us an update.
Hi, Debbie. Yes, you and I spoke in March. I had given a talk at a school on the true presence of the Eucharist, and one of the students that was listening, Carrie, who is sitting next to me, was inspired to create her own website about Carlo Acutis. So she has updated that website. You asked me to call back in and update with Carrie, and I don't work Fridays, and I know that's your day to, so we thought we'd call today, and if I can turn it over to Carrie so she can tell you about her website.
I would love that. Carrie, thank you so much for putting together this website. And now you must be so happy to call him Saint Carlo Acutis. So welcome.
Thank you. I am very happy that he is now a saint.
So what made you, first tell us, all the Take Two family, what made you put together this website? What can we find when we visit it? And I'd love to hear about it.
So basically what made me inspired to do it is actually Miss Jenkins, who called in for me, because I've never even heard of him, but after what I heard that he did, I'm like, I know how to make a website. Why don't I do it? And then when I told her I was doing it, she said, that's cool. And I added a bunch of images and a bunch of things to make it even more special.
Wow. And it's all centered around St. Carlo Acutis?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So what did you learn from this great saint putting together this website? What have you learned yourself in your own spiritual life?
I learned that really even one thing can change your whole life forever. I mean, I've never even heard of him, but then I'm so interested in him. It's, one thing can make you change in many different ways.
Right. Carrie, how old are you?
12. I made the website when I was 11.
Wow, that's amazing. That's when he did most of his ministry work. What is the website? I want to go to it again after the show.
Right now, it is private because it's on her school website.
Oh, okay. No problem.
So that we can share it with you.
Okay. What you want to why don't you just send me an email? How about send me an email and whatever I can view, I just would love to see it. You can send the email to take2@EWTN.com.
We would love that. Okay, here, Carrie.
That would be great. Carrie, let me ask you a question. Your friends, how have they responded to you creating this website?
They've been amazed, actually. They don't know how to make a website, so they're like, even my teacher said, how do you do this? I'm like, it takes a lot of practice.
So just a suggestion for you. You may want to reach out to the team, the family team of St. Carlo Acutis, and let them know, his mother, let him know what you're doing. Because, you never know. Possibly, if she's in the area, she could pay a visit. I know she travels all around the world now, or maybe she might send you something, but it just might be nice for you to connect with the family. Have you tried that?
No, I haven't yet, but I probably will now.
Okay,
That
yeah,
sounds
just
really.
it sounds good. Yeah, just go to the official site for Carlo Acutis, and there's a contact information there to contact the team that's working on his behalf. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow,
Thank you.
thank you. That is so awesome. I can't wait to get your email. Thank you so much. And Mary Jo, thank you so much for staying connected with us and keeping us abreast of what's going on, because this is just amazing. I love to see that he has inspired so many of the people around the world, especially the youth. And Carrie, you are awesome. So thank you for calling in. And Mary Jo, thank you for being just so incredible and really encouraging it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, you guys. God bless you. I can't wait to get the email, take2@EWTN.com. Okay, that was a great call and a great update. I love this. I love saying St. Carlo Acutis. I love it now because I said Blessed Carlo for so long. Now it's St. Carlo. But we're talking about hardest spiritual battles. So if you have something to say and a story to share, please call in 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Speak to Matt and you can share your story. We're going to go to Diane next in the great state of New Jersey on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Diane. Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to share. I had about 27 years ago, I had my son who was born with a very rare syndrome. He's actually 100% disabled. And the syndrome he had was only about 200 people in the world had it. And they had told me that it, wasn't heredity or environment. They sort of said it was like something struck like you're struck by lightning. But and he was on life support for about 6 weeks after that. And I was so angry with God. I just turned away from him, and I'm a Catholic, and I just couldn't believe that God was my only child, and I couldn't believe God had done this to me. And as years went on, he brought so many people into my husband's life and my life. And today, I could say that Joseph is 100% a gift from God. He is absolutely the most wonderful little boy you could possibly have. And he just has an effect on people, a very positive effect on people. I can't explain it any more than that, except that it was I've become so close to God because of Joseph, and I know that Joseph is about as close to God as any human being I know. Whenever we go off track, God always puts us back on. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So Diane, let me ask you this question. I mean, it's understandable, your only son, and then you have, all these complications with the birth of your child, and then you're thinking, oh, this is not how I had planned it, how I envisioned it. This is not how it's supposed to turn out. So I think it's very understandable that when people get super angry when something doesn't go the way they had actually planned it out in their head. So but now you've absolutely come full circle, and you realize how much Joseph is a gift of God and how he has brought such beauty and love into this world, right? And so you've come back around. Do you ever have thoughts about how you used to feel about God? Because I think sometimes, and I don't want to put those thoughts into your head, but sometimes as Catholic Christians, we have a lot of guilt, and we'll say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Lord. I can't believe I turned away from you at that time." Do you ever have any of that going into the past?
I can say that sometimes I do, but then I always feel God's presence, and it's okay. Like that, I get the Holy Spirit saying to me, "It's okay. It's okay." He understands totally, because it's a completely life-changing. So for someone who has a special needs child, they understand. It's a very life-changing situation, and God is there to direct me, and He does. Whenever I have a difficult situation with Joseph, because he doesn't speak, he can't really communicate verbally, but I have to rely on God for instruction on how to care for him. But yes, sometimes I do, but it goes away very quickly.
Yeah, and that's good, because that's what I was trying to get to, that sometimes we as Catholics, we will beat ourselves up tremendously our whole life because if we have at one point not been there for God. But I love how you have come to terms with it, and now you have a full understanding. I love how you said, but very quickly God is present, right? Very quickly God shows himself and says, no, Diane, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the journey. I love that, Diane. You're really in a beautiful spiritual place. I can feel it. The place that you're in is a place that'll actually bring more grace into your life and to Joseph's life and to your whole family because of your beautiful disposition. So I just want to say thank you. You really helped us today.
I hope so. And I do a lot of writing. I'm a professional writer also. So I like to share because I know how devastating it is for some people to have a child with disabilities. It could be completely so if you rely on God, he is there and he will carry you, most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for being a great writer. I mean, I think that's wonderful because you're sharing your insights, your story, your inspirations, and that's important. People need that. So thank you, Diane. God bless you for calling in. Okay, Diane's going to free a phone line for you to call in about your hardest spiritual battle. How did you get through it? Maybe you're still in the middle of it. 833-288 EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. You can also post it in the chats on YouTube, Facebook, and the other social media platforms. I'm waving to you guys. You can also text us. You can email us. I gave the email a couple times, take2@EWTN.com. You can go on Facebook and post there as well. Diana is up next from Tampa, Florida, listening on TuneIn Radio. Hi, Diana. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Go right ahead.
Okay, good. Well, I just actually was listening to all the stories. They're very uplifting. I actually also have a kid with disabilities, and I was just hearing her talking about her kid and how she saw God through him, and it's the same thing for me now. Because 10 years ago, I didn't know how to see this. It was my first son, and he was diagnosed with autism. But through the years, I understand. I never really doubted God. I actually was very close to God through the whole process. Like I looked for help. And he's been helped. I always thank God for helping him, having all the people around him that he needs and helping him to go through all that. So I'm very thankful. Sometimes I did, question why, why my first son, why. Because I wanted him to say hi and Mom, I love you. But then through him, I see so much innocence, and I really think it's a blessing to have him. Now I have my second son, and he's fine. He's going to school, and he's getting another little baby, so that's good. He has a brother now. So, but I'm calling because there's a thing that is been happening in my family. My dad's now going through a cancer battle. He always smoked, so we always were afraid that this is going to happen. So now, usually it's me who helps in all situations because my family is all spread out in different places. So I'm going through that and changes in my own life with my husband and my mom. They don't get along for a long time. They always all these arguments and things. So we're looking for a home to move out. And my mom doesn't live with me, but we live in her house, and she doesn't like him and things like that happening. So I'm always like in the middle. My dad doesn't like him either. So it's very hard because there's a lot of arguments all the time, and I have 2 kids, and our finances are not good. They're not in place for whatever reason, bad decisions. But just hoping God will come through on this. And maybe this is for good, and just the fears will disappear with time, that everything's going to be okay. I don't think he abandons anybody. So I was just sharing my story, and I also I don't know why, but God put this story on my social media today about a friend that I didn't see it for a long time, and she showed up showing and telling her story, how she lost her company that she worked for so long, and now she has to start from scratch, and then she discovered herself through spiritual growth, and she also lost her marriage, and I was like comparing my life to other people, and like not comparing, but just kind of see how everybody's going through things, and I was like, here I'm complaining, and we all have struggles. I know her for a long time, and she's recovering from all these losses. People steal from her, and I'm like, was like listening to this, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just complaining sometimes, but there's so much more that people go through.
The crosses,
and it's like so sad, but at the same time,
Well, but Diana, let me just share something, because we're gonna go right into the break in just a moment. I want to share this because first of all, I brought the prayer book out, so everybody's in the prayer book today. So I put you in the prayer book just to let you know. But the interesting thing is, as you were speaking, it really just became again crystal clear to me, and it does every time when someone shares a story, that God is asking us for extreme trust in Him. He's asking us to grow in holiness, to grow in trust, to grow in love, to do all the things to get close to Him on this side of the veil, because ultimately we want to get back to Him, right? That's the goal. And so we're going to be faced with all these twists and turns, ups and downs with life, with personalities, with illnesses, with all sorts of problems. And it's our job to rise above the storm and to trust God more than the storm. And it's sometimes when we see what others are going through, we're like, oh, I feel so guilty, Lord. I shouldn't even complain. But everybody's cross is heavy in their own way. It's very heavy for people, because it's your life. It's your life getting disrupted. It's your life changing. It's your life feeling different, or lots more problems or more responsibilities. So I love that you're sharing today, Diana, because I think it's helping all of us realize that when we are going through these storms, we must just trust God more. Jesus, I trust in you. Okay, you hear that music, Diana? Thank you so much for calling in. I'm going to let you go on that. And when we come back, more calls, more stories about how we are facing the hardest spiritual battles when we come back.
The month of September is devoted to Our Lady of Sorrows. It commemorates the profound union of heart between the Mother of the Redeemer and the Savior. She experienced many interior sorrows as a consequence of His mission, particularly during His passion and death. We ask Mary to pray for us so that we can unite ourselves to her sorrow, in the hope that we will one day also share her joy in the triumph of her Son. Join EWTN in honoring Our Lady of Sorrows. You can strengthen your connection to Our Lady with rosaries, statues, bracelets, holy cards, prayer booklets, and more. Available at EWTNRC.com.
This is a digital moment with Sandra McDevitt. Did you know there are many answered intercessions to the Blessed Mother? This is one of them, as told by the Bishop of Worth, Germany, who vouched for the story during a sermon. A missionary lost his way in the forest and night was falling. Praying to Mary for help, he gleaned a light in the distance. Following the light for 1 hour, he came upon a cottage. The woman inside was waiting for him. Her 3-year-old son had awakened and called, "Mama, light a light." Ignoring him, he kept saying, "Mama, light a light." And finally, "Mama, the great lady wants you to." She realized it was Our Lady. The light was lit 1 hour before the missionary arrived. I'm Sandra McDevitt for EWTN Radio.
Swaim here. Tomorrow on the Sunrise Morning Show, we'll talk about how Fulton Sheen might respond to the thought of Jack Kerouac with Derek Roddy, author of Prophet of Hope, plus news, weather, sports, and more. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Okay, we're talking about our hardest spiritual battles today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Monica sent this in on YouTube. Monica, I'm waving to you. This is really serious, you guys. And anyone else has advice for Monica, please call in and share the advice. Monica said, "Hello, I need some advice, please, for my husband is being accused of stealing and harassment by a coworker. He has been in that company for over 30 years, and we need advice to protect and guidance from God." Okay, Monica, first thing, you and your husband go deep into prayer together. Go into prayer together, Monica, with your husband. And then also add some fasting. It doesn't have to be fasting from food, but something like you and your husband commit to pulling away from something like screen time, I don't know, and doing something that's like a luxury, pull back a little bit for fasting. And then also you want to add almsgiving. So you want to fast and give. You want to pull back in a certain area and give. Okay. And then and get in a state of grace. Both of you guys get in a state of grace, stay in a state of grace. If you're Catholic, obviously go to confession. If you're not Catholic, make a good act of contrition, say you're sorry for your sins, be very, very clear with God, stay close to God during all of this. And I would definitely go to the Blessed Mother to help you with this, because she's, the Novena Lady Undoer of Knots. She will untangle those knots. She will make things revealed and clear. And stay in truth, stay in absolute truth. And, like God said, the truth will set you free. That is true, because, it may in the meantime feel very painful because other people aren't living in truth, but ultimately the truth will set you free. So whether he stays and he clears his name at this company, or God opens a door for something else that's even better, but just stay completely trusting of God. Jesus, I trust in you. Okay, so Monica, that's my initial advice. Pray, fast, and almsgiving. If anyone else has advice for Monica, please call in 833-288-3986. Okay, we're going to get back to the phones. Pearl in Missouri on the EWTN app is waiting so patiently. Hi, Pearl. Take it away.
Hi, I'm from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to share the hardest spiritual battle I have was like 5 years ago. And actually, I called you one time. I don't know if you remember, last year maybe I was asking for advice.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a divorce 5 years ago, and coming from a culture that's like no divorce. I'm from the Philippines. And it was really hard because I've noticed my mother-in-law, my mother, when they had some kind of infidelity like that, you just have to tolerate it. If your husband is not going to stop, you just have to go on with the marriage and go through it. So they're, just tolerate it. So I don't think I'm able to do that, because I get to the point where I was so depressed. I was so, thinking of killing myself, I was so bitter. And, it was so hard. So I decided to have a divorce. And then I have a friend who's been praying with me. And she was really praying with me. And then she told me to read the gospel because I was a very, my faith was very cold. I was very lukewarm.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with, that Laudate app.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I would read through that every day, and then to a point where I eventually went to Mass every day. And but I was embarrassed at first to go to Mass because there's just old ladies there. So, I don't want to be I don't want them to tell me, because I feel like those that really go to Mass, that love God so much, are crazy. They're weird people.
You're so funny.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. And now, if I have to go through the same thing again, I would gladly do it because now I know and love God more. And, there's no greater place than what I'm right now, where I'm right now. So I'm just so, yes.
Yes. So, Pearl, you went through a very difficult time going through the divorce, and you had to go through some of the, what would you say, shame from family, things like that, and all sorts of things. But you stayed focused. You went back to the Lord, which I'm glad you did, and absolutely you should do. And you did it, and you went back to the Lord, and now you are active in your faith. You are committed, and you're staying focused. Okay. Okay, what that tells me is exactly what the priest told me when I went through a divorce, that you're either going to get really close with God or you're going to drift further away after a divorce, because it kind of just shocks you. It shocks your whole world. It changes the dynamics of relationships all around you, with family, with friends, everything. So Pearl, you did a beautiful thing, and I hope you can feel the blessings and graces from that, because God has to, I mean, you think about it, if God wants us always to stay, for us to stay close to him when we go through these very difficult things that are so painful and so hard, and it's not by our choice. We don't want it to happen. We didn't intend for it to happen, but ultimately it did. And when we go through these difficult things and we still try to get close to God, you just have to imagine that God is pleased with that, because that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to come to him. And so I just want to say kudos to you, Pearl. I mean, you hung in there and you stayed close with God. And I think it's wonderful. I would just even get even tighter with God as much as you possibly can. Because it's what we all should be doing. We're trying to get back home to God. And the sooner we do it, the better off we will be for all of eternity, right? So that maybe there'll be less time in purgatory or no time in purgatory, or it's amazing. So this time is really an ultimate spiritual training ground for us, so that we can get close to the Lord. What do you say?
Yes. And then I really understand the saying, like they say, I think that's St. Augustine, that God will not permit evil unless there is no greater good that will come from it. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that, like the divorce was evil, whatever happened, but look at me now, like spiritually, I'm in a much better place. So, I'm thankful. I'm really grateful. Everything happened, but it's painful, but I'm thankful.
Well, it's interesting because I still get a lot of criticism from fellow Catholics for going through a divorce. It was not my choice. I fought very hard. You can't force somebody to stay in a marriage. You just can't. Yeah. I mean, they have their own free will, right? And so, but I still get people, to this day that say, God hates divorce. It's so bad. It's so evil. And it is. There's so much fallout with kids and with things that happen to the children. And it's really not a positive thing in any way, shape, or form, unless there was some form of major abuse or something like that there was a necessary, urgency to get out of the relationship. But I will tell you that the same thing for me, Pearl. I would not be sitting here today on radio in ministry. I just wouldn't. I got so close to God that it just was like this. It was unbelievable what happened. It was like this avalanche of like this great overwhelming sense that God was present in all things. And I just felt like it was just, he was opening up these paths and these avenues and this ability for me to do ministry work. And I had ministry work before when I was married, but now it has just gone, it's skyrocketed in so many ways. And so you're right on. And I think that when we choose God, when we go through these difficult times, when we really and truly choose God and we say, okay, Lord, everything else is crumbling, I'm choosing you. I believe the good Lord shows up in such a beautiful way, like he did in your life, like he's done in my life. And I'm sure there's other stories as well. So I agree with you, Pearl.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're awesome. When you called in last time, I hope we gave you good advice. Did we give you good advice?
Yeah, I know. You called me. I talked to you, and then you called me privately because that stand tall.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
good.
I was
good.
asking for advice, and now finally I had the annulment. I have to go through,
Okay.
So yeah.
Good. All right.
So everything is good.
Good. Well, we'll pray, Pearl, that everything goes well, and it's a process that you can continue to grow and get closer to God. So keep in touch with us. Okay. I love that. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Okay, Barbara is up next in Nashville, Tennessee on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Barbara. Welcome. Hello, Barbara. Are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you go right ahead. You're on air. Oh, you need to turn down your radio.
I'll try to be quick about this. It's kind of a long story, but it's a heart-wrenching one. I was living over in Florida, and I decided to move to Tennessee to be near my son and his wife. They were expecting my second grandchild, so I thought it was a win-win. Well, my son had asked me not to move. he said, stay in Florida, but I things weren't going well in Florida, and I missed family, and I wanted to be near him, you know. So I moved anyway. That was probably my first mistake, but I moved, and they had my second granddaughter, and things went well for us. I was there for them. I helped babysit. Anything they needed. I was pretty much ready for them, help them any way I could to make life easier for them. Well, as time went on, when my grandchildren were growing up, and I would take them to Adoration Chapel. I'd talk about Jesus. That's why I didn't understand what the Lord did, because I was taking them to church, and my daughter-in-law had turned Catholic. I mean, there was just all this good stuff that was going on. I thought this was truly the Lord's, giving. I was having 2 granddaughters. I loved it. Well, one day I got a call from my son. And he said, Mom, go on with your life. Forget me and go on with your life. And I started crying. I didn't understand what. He said, no, you've helped me enough. Just leave, get on with your life. He wouldn't take my calls. They wouldn't answer emails. They wouldn't answer the door. And he just said, no, we're done. He cut me out. And so here I lost, in just a split second, I lost the lives of my granddaughters. And I'm a therapist, so I knew what that would probably affect with them, with their boundaries, with attachment disorder. And they just cut me off, and I couldn't see them. I cried and cried and cried for the first 2 years. Second year, I thought I kept praying not to wake up. I thought about suicide. And I kept going to church, said every novena, masses, said everything I could. Everybody I knew was praying. Nothing changed. So then as it went on, I moved kind of closer to them, but I couldn't see them still. But then I found out my granddaughters were going to school. They were both in school at the time. Now it's been 6 years ago. They're both in school. So I would find the bus schedule. So then I started to see them coming off the bus, and they would cry, and they loved me same as they did before. And I would bring them like little gifts, like little Valentine's gifts or Halloween gifts. Or at Christmas time, I'd bring the whole family gifts. But I wouldn't see Mom and Dad, but I see the grandchildren. Well, last year, I get a knock on my door. It's a police officer. They sent a restraining order to me. Oh. I had to go to court. And they said, you can't see the girls till they're 18. And I cried and cried and cried. And I said, okay, 16. So now I can't see my oldest granddaughter till she's 16, and my youngest would be, at the nick of time, 13, because there's 3 years difference between them. And that's probably 3 years from now. Mm-hmm. And my heart breaks every day. I'm missing every soccer game, every school event. My heart breaks every day. And I always read a book about the saints and say that they used to pray for things to happen because it was always the biggest blessings at the end of it. Yeah. And I know the Lord has given me peace, because otherwise I'd be gone. I would have done myself in, because this has been the hardest gut-wrenching experience ever. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna throw my daughter-in-law under the bus at all. I don't want to, but just what I know about therapy, I think she told me one time, my mother hated her mother, and she hated her mother-in-law more. And she told me that, and I think it's her, and I cannot fight her. I can't fight her. So I just prayed that the Lord soften their hearts. A month ago, I had gone to the doctor. I was having a sinus infection. I walked into my primary care doctor, and I didn't see it at the time, and I went to go sign in, and my granddaughter's name was on the list, and I turned around, and there was my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter sitting there. Ooh. Gracie wouldn't look at me, my granddaughter, because her mother, I'm sure I texted her, told her not to even look at me. Mm-hmm. But my daughter-in-law looked at me, and it was not a look of hatred. There was love there. I could feel it. Just the way she looked at me. It wasn't like she wanted me 10 feet under. I mean, I knew the Lord was working, because I felt the love there. And I don't think she knew what to think about it. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a half smile, but I just took that in and just with it. I think, okay, Lord, you're working.
Right. Well, that's Barbara, and your story is, I mean, you're not alone. I don't know how long you've listened to Take Two, but we do shows on estrangement and parental alienation and all sorts of things where families are fractured. They split apart. A a couple adult children decide not to talk to their parents anymore, cut them out. I mean, that's becoming very common these days, and it's very, very painful. So, Barbara, you're not alone. You're in a good community right here, because so many of us, including myself, are going through the same thing. So we totally can understand, and our hearts go out to you. I put you in the prayer book for your family to reunite in a much better way in the future, and that's what we're going to pray for, that it's even better and in a couple years. But Barbara, thank you for being a therapist first, for helping others, because it shows your heart, but also thank you for hanging on. Okay, because I don't think anybody can realize what it feels like until you've gone through it. When you feel a child or a family start to pull away, it's like a part of your body is being yanked off of your own body, like an arm's being pulled off or a leg's being pulled off, and you can't stop it. And there's nothing that really shows on the outside. So you walk around with this emotional pain, and it's really, really devastating. And it does take people to very low, dark places. But I'm just so glad you hung in there and you stay strong. But Barbara, you're a therapist. You don't need me to tell you this. It's not about you. Okay, whatever your son and daughter-in-law are choosing to do, it's about them. It's their problem. It's their thing that they're going to have to work out. It's not about you. Okay, you keep being Barbara and being the best Barbara you can be, and the best version of yourself, and your grandchildren, your family. Hopefully they will all come around. And if on this side of the veil, they never fully come around and be close again, well, that was their loss. Don't let it be your loss. And just know your love goes, you're still streaming that love towards them. And that's a beautiful thing. And God sees everything, Barbara. And there are degrees of glory. And when we go through these difficult things that are so unfair, out of our control, we cannot fix them. And there's nothing we can do. And we can't wave a magic wand to fix it. And God sees us staying faithful and staying strong and persevering and waking up every day and going on with our life. Okay, that is an element of attaining holiness, because you're staying faithful. So thank you, Barbara, for being strong and being close to God and waking up every day, and you keep going. That's what we all need to do. I just want you to know I totally understand your position. Believe me, I'm living through it myself. So I hope those words bring you some comfort in knowing that there's others going through it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, I thought about that, too. I thought, okay, Lord, if I'm not with them on this side of the earth, I'll be with them in heaven, and we'll spend the remaining our days together. But I hate to think that, because I really do want a relationship with them, but I don't understand it. But that's,
right,
it's kind of where the Lord...
Right, but remember... Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think about the saints, like I said, they prayed for hardship. Some of the saint books I've read, they prayed that things would happen to them, because they knew at the end of the hardship would be a bigger blessing, better blessing. So I keep thinking, oh, wow, I would have never prayed for this.
Exactly. And Barbara, remember one thing, though. I know what you just said there, and I felt that same feeling, because we're living on this side of the veil, we want that relationship. But I have to tell you something. If we don't get that relationship that we want, the relationship we will get in heaven through our prayers, through our faithfulness, helping them through our prayers get to heaven as well, it will be so much better. I believe the good Lord is going to shower an abundant relationship that we could never have experienced on this side of the veil for all of eternity. I feel it's going to be a million times better, Barbara. So I just hold on to it. It's actually a really good thought when you go big with God. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Thank you,
Barbara. Thank you so much for sharing. We really appreciate it. Maria, hang on. Don't go anywhere. I wanted to share about Fire on the Earth, Monday through Friday mornings, 5:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Peter Herbeck provides a compelling look at the new evangelization through inspiring teachings, interviews, and testimonies. Peter's insights will help Catholics acquire the tools they need to do their part in the new evangelization. Okay, Maria has been waiting. She's driving through Maryland on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Maria. Welcome. Hello, Maria.
Yes. Hi.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I was going to say two things. One is the person you had said somebody had accused her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say they should go to adoration and just sit and listen and be at peace and ask for direction.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
It's just important. And then the other thing is a little bit of a non sequitur and wasn't what I planned on saying, but the woman who left her husband and has the annulment and everything. I had a situation that was similar, and I had a priest who said he would do the annulment. I had 5 children. And there was a point when God said to me, if you go here, you'll find someone who can be a father for your children. And I refused to do it because. And so if God's directing her, she needs to do it. She needs to have her ears open and her eyes on God, and not on what had happened in the past.
Right. Amen.
That's
Totally.
all.
Yeah, no, that was great advice, and thank you for sharing. And that was for Monica that you shared the adoration. I'm so glad you did, because I actually thought of that after I finished speaking, and then you called up, which is perfect. See how the Holy Spirit works. So yes, Monica, if you're on YouTube still, I'm waving to you. Go to adoration and listen for the Lord's direction. Absolutely, Maria. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to quickly get to Elizabeth in California, listening on Alexa. Elizabeth, you have about 4 minutes. You go right ahead. Elizabeth, talk nice and loud. I can't hear you. Talk nice and loud, please, so that the whole audience can hear you. Go ahead.
My problem is I don't know how to talk to my parents and my sisters about my boyfriend, and we've been together for 8 years, and still they're not accepting of him. So.
Well, Elizabeth, I don't know the details of this, but it says here on some of the comments, I just want to make sure, you've been together with him for 8 years, but he's quite a bit older than you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is that a concern for your family, or are they also concerned with the way he treats you, the way your living arrangement is, their religion? What else what are the other factors, Elizabeth?
Yeah, all that.
All that. Okay. Elizabeth, if they're concerned for you, they have a reason to be concerned. Okay. So what I would do is really sit down with your family and really, without emotion, talk it out with them and ask them why they are so worried for you. Give you the reasons, and even write them down, and even do a pro and con list on a piece of paper. Okay, where the pros, for staying in the relationship, the cons, the positives, the negatives. Put that down on paper to see if it's best for you. Elizabeth, sometimes when we're in a relationship, we cannot see what's the dysfunction that's going on because we're living in it. Sometimes we can't even understand it. And it's so important for our families who know us well to weigh in and see what and they're observing from the outside. We are getting a question coming in. Okay, and so you're an adult, so you have every right to enter into a relationship, but your family loves you and they want the best for you. I would not view them as an enemy of the relationship. View them as people that care about you, and just really explore this from a very healthy way to make sure this relationship is the best it can be for Elizabeth. Okay?
So we have to always hide, or can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not quite sure where you're going with this, but let me just share this again. All I would say is that obviously people care about you, and lean on those people that care about you. Remember, we don't have to just be with one person that cares about us. We have families, right? We have communities, we have friends. So lean on the people that care about you and really ask them to guide you, and to share with you what their concerns are, so that you can be at peace and do the best and have the best life you can possibly have, Elizabeth. Because honestly, relationships can be hard, and you don't want, if other people are seeing that the relationship is hard, it doesn't always get easier. It actually sometimes gets harder. So you want to really talk it out with your family and make sure you have that support. Okay, Elizabeth, you hear the music. I'm so sorry. That's about all we can do for today, but you can always call back on the unscripted. Thank you so much to everyone that participated today. Again, please like us on Facebook, Jerry and Debbie Facebook page, and find me at Debbie Georgiani. I'm trying to post some things on for folks to catch Take Two live so they can participate, and that would be wonderful. I want to thank the show team, Matt and Michael and Pedro. You did a great job, and thank you to all the affiliates that do carry the show live. You are really doing you're giving such a wonderful gift to your audience because they can participate. That's what live call-in shows are all about. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders from EWTN's Called to Communion. I want to let you know that I've joined the staff at Stand Tall Life Coaching. If you're struggling to put the Catholic faith into practice because of